Today we want to use CBA to analyze the Qinghai Tibet Railway project. First, let me show you the introduction. The Qinghai Tibet Railway is the world's highest railway and was opened in the traffic in July 2006. It is a major national infrastructure project with significant economic impacts. Today, based on this article, we would like to analyze this project from the perspective of CBA. Now, let's talk about the private benefits it creates. First, tourists have huge cost savings. Train cost from Beijing to Lhasa costs 389 RMB, which is far less than a 2,000 RMB plane ticket. Even though the train takes longer, the net benefit is positive for price-sensitive tourists. Secondly, the capacity of rail is higher compared to other modes. 1.5 billion people traveled by rail in 2007. By its third anniversary, the Qinghai Tibet Railway carried 8.3 billion passengers and 62.21 billion tons of cargo. Thirdly, it saves transport costs, which provides the possibility of higher revenue. From Xining to Lhasa, transporting cargo by railway saves 500 yuan per ton compared with road. Finally, the completion of the Qinghai Tibet Railway has boosted the development of tourism in Tibet. From 2006 to 2007, the number of tourists increased dramatically and revenue increased from 2.8 billion yuan to 3.4 billion yuan. Then let's see the social benefits. Tourism also boosted the development of local hotels and food industries. This provides more employment opportunities and higher income for locals. The living standard of locals has improved significantly. The railway also attracted investment from the outside of the tourism industry. In 2006, Tibet received 4 billion RMB of the domestic and foreign investment, which is close to the accumulative value of the previous 5 years. That's all about the benefits. Then let's look at the costs. The obvious one is the 340 billion RMB construction costs. In addition, it also brought social costs. The potential environmental damage caused by the railway construction and increased human activities was a worry to both the government and nature groups. Therefore, the government spent 38.7 billion yuan to build nature reserves, protect forests, and also prevent soil erosion. That's all about the benefits and costs mentioned in this article.
In this discussion, we will examine the various ways to measure the value of time in transport projects and how these different measurement approaches impact the cost-benefit analysis. A commonly adopted method is to approximate the value of time using individuals' wage rates based on the assumption that time bears an opportunity cost reflect in the income forgone during travel. In this context, the cost-benefit analysis of the Qinghai Tibet Railway considers 3 primary beneficiary groups: Tibetans, travelers, and freight shippers. For Tibetans, we use 2007 urban per capita disposable income, since most farmers and herders don't earn regular wages, and their incomes can't be captured by wage rate methods. Assuming a typical 2,000-hour work year, we can estimate their hourly value of time. For domestic travelers, we adjust the national per capita disposable income by removing Tibet's share. Using the same assumption of 2,000 working hours, we then estimate their value of time per hour. Since about 9% of travelers in 2007 were foreigners, and they generally have higher incomes, we assume their time is worth significantly more. By combining both domestic and international travelers using the weighted average, we estimate an overall value of time for all travelers. For freight shippers, we base the estimate on the average wage of railway transport workers. After figuring out the value of time for each group, we work out the total sum saving benefit by looking at how much time each person or town saves, multiply that by their time value and their total number, and then sum it up. Let's measure wage rates can influence the outcomes of CBA. Data limitations. One issue is that wage rate often exclude non-wage benefits like housing subsidies or social insurance. In our analysis, the value of time for Tibetans and travelers is based on per capita disposable income, which includes these benefits. But for freight shippers, we rely on wage data that likely leaves them out. This may lead to underestimating their time value and are conservative buyers in the CBA. Another issue is that the freight shippers data is only available in pre-tax terms. Since pre-tax income is higher than what people actually take home, using it can overstate the opportunity cost of time and inflate the perceived benefits of time savings. Additionally, using average income figures for non-working individuals may misrepresent their true opportunity cost of time. This can bias the analysis toward time-saving infrastructure and overlook fairness concerns. Second, labor market imperfection further complicate the estimation of value of time. In less competitive markets, which may reflect not only productivity, but also things like rent sharing between firms and workers. So the wage rate might be higher than the true value of time. Using such figures to estimate value of time can overstate the actual opportunity cost of time. Moreover, the wage rate may not be appropriate due to rigidities in the market or market failures. The wage rate assumes people can trade time for money freely, but in reality, labor market rigidities mean many cannot adjust work hours. So using wage as value of time overstates the real value of time saved. Lastly, we need to consider behavior factors. People do not value all types of time equally. For example, some may continue working while traveling or waiting, making the actual benefit of time saved less than their full wage rate. This further suggests an overestimation of value of time. In addition, the purpose of travel matters. Recreational travelers may enjoy the travel experience itself, making the time saving less valuable to them. Studies suggest that for such travelers, 1 hour of travel time saved is worth only about 45% of the after-tax wage rate. Using the full wage rate leads to an overestimation of benefits.
The second and the third methods are similar to the concept of consumer purchase studies discussed in the class. They look at how much people are willing to pay for faster transportation options to figure out how much they value saving time. The two methods are revealed preference method and stated preference survey. Revealed preference method infers preferences from actual market behaviors. It uses real data like ticket prices and travel time. In contrast, stated preference survey directly asks the respondents about their preferences in hypothetical scenarios with no real actions involved. These differences may mean that they have different applications. The first one is used for analyzing existing transport, while the second one is more suitable for new projects. Let's look at the revealed preferences method using the 2007 Beijing to Lhasa trip as an example. Travelers can go by road, by train, or by air. Comparing tickets price and travel times, the average value of time saved is 48.6 yuan per hour. Later travelers, being more price sensitive, tend to choose the train, while business travelers usually value time more. Freight transport can be analyzed in the same way. After considering passenger and freight volumes, we can calculate the total time saving value. This is a simplified calculation. As for the stated preference survey, there are three main types as shown on the slides. This table clearly outlines how the limitations of reviewed preferences and stated preference methods can distort CBA results. For reviewed preference method, one limitation is that when a traveler chooses among different transport methods, he or she doesn't only consider the money cost and time spent. There are unmeasured preferences like comfort levels and service reliability, which lead to the overestimation of the value of time saved, thus the benefit of the project. Second, market distortions introduce additional problems. Subsidized train fares may lower willingness to pay estimates, while sudden price surges of airfares could increase that. This indicates potential for distort of the benefit. Stated preferences method has a similar omitted variable problem. The necessary simplification of complex travel decisions in the survey questions fails to capture real-world situations. This introduces errors while asking about people's willingness to pay. Moreover, with no real cost involved, people may overstate their willingness to pay, leading to overestimation of the benefit of time saved. Lastly, it's possible that the sample doesn't cover all traveler types, which may also distort the estimation. All in all, in the case of Qinghai Tibet Railway, all the three methods of measuring the value of time saving have their limitations. More complex calculations based on these methods are preferable.
And then we raise the second question. How should policymakers treat economic-wide benefits such as economic growth and employment in CBA? In order to solve this question, we have come up with 4 solutions. Let's begin with the first step, defining the scope of economic-wide benefits. In cost-effective analysis, policymakers should distinguish between direct benefits, which are clearly measurable and occurred as a direct result of the project, and indirect benefits, which are broader and more diffuse but still significant. As we mentioned in the previous part, in Qinghai Tibet Railway case, direct benefits included the increase in tourism revenue. In 2006, total tourist spending reached 28 billion yuan, and in 2007, it grew to 34 billion yuan, which is tourist arrivals increasing from 2.5 to 3 million. And the indirect benefits were even more impactful. The region attracted 4 billion yuan of investment in 2006, almost 80% of what it had received in the previous 5 years combined. And the railway also helped create employment opportunities for local farmers and herders, who shifted into services, restaurants, and transport sectors, contributing to poverty reduction in the region. To incorporate this benefit into a CBA, we can apply methods like, first, using a GPT multiplier. For instance, with a multiplier of 1.5, the 4 billion yuan in investment would generate 6 billion yuan in additional GDP. And second, we can calculate the labor income by multiplying the number of newly employed workers by average annual wages. And then these can be converted into annual benefit streams and added to be the net present value calculation. And the second step is to ensure that all benefits are valued correctly based on their true opportunity cost to society. In public CBA, we differentiated between tradable and non-tradable goods. Tradables like industrial or mineral freight should be priced using world market prices. And non-tradables such as local materials or regional services should be adjusted using the conversion factors, especially the standard conversion factor, to reflect their social value more accurately. And let's look at the freight transport as an example from Qinghai Tibet Railway. Railway transport cost only 0.12 yuan per ton kilometer, compared to 0.27 yuan by road, and that's a saving of 5 yuan per ton during the whole Qinghai Tibet Railway. From 2006 to 2009, the railway transported over 62 million tons, resulting in approximately 31 billion yuan in transport cost savings. And this saving can be classified as private benefits to businesses, but these are also social benefits as they improved overall economic efficiency. And to correctly capture this in CBA, we must price these savings according to their tradability and adjust using SCF if necessary.
For the critical question in public policy, how should we evaluate large-scale infrastructure projects that promise long-term benefits like economic growth and job creation? The Qinghai Tibet Railway, the world's highest railway, offers a perfect case study. Constructed at a staggering cost of 34 billion yuan, this railway connects remote Tibet to the rest of China. Beyond its engineering marvel, it transformed Tibet's economy. Before 2006, Tibet's tourism was minimal. By 2007, the railway brought 1.5 million passengers, boosting tourism revenue to 3.4 billion yuan. Jobs surged, poverty declined, and investments flowed. But how do we quantify such economy-wide benefits in a cost-benefit analysis, especially when they unfold over decades? The answer lies in dynamic discounting. The Qinghai Railway exemplifies a high-cost infrastructure project with long-term indirect social benefits. Traditional constant discount rates risk undervalue these benefits. Instead, we should use weighted social opportunity cost. This method adjusts discount rates based on funding sources. Since the railway was tax-funded, the social discount rate drops to 1.5 to 2.5%, amplifying the value of future benefits like sustained tourism or regional integration. Another solution is time declining discount rates. Imagine starting with the 3% rate today, but reducing it to 1% over 50 years. This prevents undervaluation of benefits occurring in later decades, such as continued employment growth or environmental preservation efforts. When it comes to discounting, there are several steps. The first one is to include economy-wide benefits in the analysis. Benefits such as increased employment, boosting GDP, tourism revenue, improved connectivity, and so on, should all be quantified where possible and included as benefits in the CBA. These are typically considered indirect or wider economic benefits, but still valid. The second one is to discount all future benefits and costs to present value. And the third one is to avoid double counting. Sometimes economy-wide benefits are already captured in other categories. Policymakers should avoid counting the same benefit more than once. In conclusion, for projects like the Qinghai Tibet Railway, policymakers should adopt dynamic discounting methods to reflect the long-term society-wide impact of economy-wide benefits. This approach ensures that infrastructure investments with enduring social value are not penalized by short-term financial metrics. Sensitivity analysis and funding-adjusted discount rates further enhance the rigor and fairness of CBA, aligning economic evaluations with broader society goals. Okay, that's all our presentation. Thank you for listening.